Hey everyone, it's great to see you here once again on Dee's Delights. Today we're going to make some baked pumpkin donuts. They're also going to have a cinnamon sugar coating, which makes them absolutely delicious. But if you don't want a cinnamon sugar coating, you can also frost them. Totally up to you. So let's get started. What you're going to need is 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1½ teaspoons ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon ground ginger, 1/4 teaspoon ground nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon ground cloves or allspice. I don't have the ground cloves or allspice right now, so I'm just going to use 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. 3/4 cups of packed light brown sugar, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, which would be 1 stick, 2 large eggs at room temperature, and 2 cups of pumpkin puree. So the reason I'm making these donuts today is because I had some pumpkin puree left in the fridge that I wanted to use up before it went bad. So let's get started. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees and grease your donut tin. Now it suggests that the cavities be about 3 3/4 inches. Mine are probably about 3 1/4. It's close enough. That's what I got, so that's what I'm using. So we're going to spray those pans and set them aside. It says here on the recipe it's going to make about 16 donuts. Well, here's 12, so we'll see. Let's go ahead and whisk together our 2 cups of flour, our 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1½ teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1/2 teaspoon is what I'm using of ground nutmeg. You can use 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg and 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves or allspice, whatever you like. So let's go ahead and whisk those together. Then we're just going to set that aside. Let's go ahead and melt our butter. We'll just let it cool slightly. So go ahead and whisk your 3/4 cup of brown sugar, and that should be packed. 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Let's put our melted butter in there, which is 1 stick. Mix that together. I'm going to make sure that all that butter is absorbed. I'm going to whisk my eggs just a little bit before I put them in here, and that's 2 eggs at room temperature. So whisk that together really good. Now we're going to stir in our pumpkin puree. Time to mix the 2 bowls together. Okay, let's mix this around until you don't see any more flour, but you don't want to overmix. So let's just do it gently. Now, you can either spoon this on or pipe it on. I'm going to use a spoon because I find that works good for me. Off to the oven it goes for 12 to 14 minutes, or a toothpick inserted in the center comes out with no crumbs. Okay, I'm going to start with 12 minutes. Toothpick is coming out clean, so I'm going to let them rest here in the pan just for a few minutes, and then I'll put them on a wire rack to cool. Look how much nicer the other side looks. Deformed? Nice. So I'll soon brush some butter, melted butter, the cinnamon and sugar mixture. We'll get that here in just a little bit. Probably if you would have piped that on, probably would have looked a little nicer. But you know what? I don't care. I'm going to make the other few that I have. I'll let this pan cool, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Next, we're going to make the cinnamon sugar coating. You'll want to put 2/3 cup of granulated sugar, mix in 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and then we will have some melted butter on the side, about 6 tablespoons. Now that they've cooled a little bit, we can start. I'm going to do both sides. Sprinkle. I put aluminum foil under the pan. Let's see here. I got plenty of sugar here. Okay, I'm just going to let those rest, and then we're going to try one. says that these donuts can be stored in an airtight container for up to 3 days, or you can freeze them for a month. So I'll probably freeze them because we don't need to eat this many donuts. But let's just see. That is superb. I may flop some more sugar on here. Oh my. That is delish. Delish. I don't think you need frosting on these. They're moist. I'll have Doug try them here in a little bit. He's downstairs with a migraine. I will not bother him at the moment. So Doug, what was your opinion on the pumpkin donuts?
They were excellent.
They were, weren't
Yes,
they?
they were very good. I would recommend them highly.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can put whipped cream on top of them, make them even better.
You
Make
can?
sure they're warm.
Make sure they're warm. That makes a difference. You're right.
Yes. Very good.
Out of a 10, what would you give them? Scale of 1 to 10.
Well, I would say a 10.
10, perfect.
10.
All right.
10, yes, 10.
10.
Just like the chef.
Aw, thanks, Doug. Bye. I'm going to rate these about a 9.8 out of 10. Very good. Very good. I think you'll like them. So thanks for joining me here once again on Dee's Delights, and I hope you enjoy your pumpkin donuts. Have a great day, everyone. See you real soon.